Thank you for being a part of the journey. This is another video log life journal for myself on October 6th, 2022. And part of me making this is I feel very important for my own ability to be able to process, to be able to continue to focus my focus, to say the least, and to really be able to just kind of like share a little bit about my journey in ways that I'm sure a lot of us will probably be able to relate to. Some of us will be able to relate to, and also to be able to share with you guys some of the exciting things that I got going on that I want to be able to invite you to both be able to be a part of and to be able to support and to be able to experience. So for the past little while now, I mean, obviously you guys know that over the past 6 months, my life has had a very powerful paradigm shift in becoming a new father. And even though it's 6 months into having this experience, it's still very much something where things are constantly shifting and learning and schedules are getting rearranged. And so for me, a lot of what I've been struggling with over the past while has been finding my roles as an entrepreneur while continuing to maintain my roles and responsibilities as a father. And it's been challenging. And so like even like right now, like part of my challenge is this idea that I have like a lot of really cool ideas that I want to be able to produce and bring into the community, but then it's also this process of being able to manage the time and the energy to be able to create and to be able to post and to be able to host and all of these things that come with being an entrepreneur, and not to mention the whole idea that, you know, yes, I'm doing this to be able to help support community. At the same time, I'm also doing it in a way where I can create a form of sacred commerce which develops the income so that I continue to support my family, so that I continue to do this, so that I continue to support my own livelihood and to support, again, just kind of like the bigger vision set that I want to be able to bring into the community. And, you know, some of you already know that over the past, back in the start of like September, I actually started like another part-time job. And so this is a part-time job at a cannabis shop. And so as it is right now, again, it's like, as it is, like I'm basically like working like 6 or 7 days a week, on top of being a dad. And so it's something where like I'm finding myself kind of going in and out of periods of frustration and depression, but also like great joy and serenity, and just doing my best to be able to maintain a presence with, you know, like the abundance that is already in my life. While at the same time, you know, like even right now, it's like, again, I'm making this video because I'm doing it as a form of catharsis, because there's been like this deep frustration that I've been holding related to just like wanting to do so much, but then sometimes like at the end of the day just not having the energy to be able to do it. And for me, like that's just like like I had these visions in my head of what I can accomplish and what can be done, and then just like struggling to kind of like get into that rhythm and that flow, but knowing that I am making my way towards it. And honestly, me creating this video is a part of me creating the accountability so that I can get more into those rhythms and those routines. And as it is right now, like part of the frustrating part, like the income, the money, the financial aspects of my reality right now have been a great catalyst, have been something that has been pushing and challenging me. Like as it is, you know, like I'm working my part-time job, like I have like my other entrepreneur stuff, and my bank account is still just like riding zero. Like literally, like money comes in, it goes right to bills, it goes to rent, it goes to car, it goes to all of this other stuff that has to be paid and everything, it goes to food. And not to get into like the whole politics and everything like that, but like the cost of living in Ontario and Canada and stuff like that, like so much is just like inflated. And I know this is a big thing everywhere, but again, and then like the income that I get from my part-time job is basically like less than minimum wage in comparison to the taxes. So it's like, for me, it's just like I know that, you know, working my part-time job isn't enough. You know, like I literally have to work at least like 3 or 4 jobs at once on top of being a dad in order for me to be able to create that financial security. And part of my goal, and this has been my vision, has been to, again, create that like that regular recurring income. And part of how I can do that is through the Patreon. And Patreon, again, for those of you who aren't familiar, it's a platform where people can support people who are artists and everything like that with monthly contributions. They get access to exclusive content that I create. So for me, like I've built my Patreon over the years, and then, you know, as my focus kind of shift and wane, like the Patreon kind of rises and then it kind of dips and then it rises and it dips. And right now it's kind of at a dip, and that's because over the last 6 months, my focus has been on other parts that I haven't been able to actively build the Patreon. But I know for me, building the Patreon is, you know, it's like $10 here, it's $30 here, but over time that builds up, and then suddenly as that continues to build, the less that I'm having to, you know, be dependent on like the part-time job, and also again just like more abundance for my family. And that's what I want. I want to be able to like build a Patreon where right now it's at like 55 members. At its highest point it was at like 200 members like 2 years ago, give or take. And so I want to be able to build it up to 75, up to 100, up to 150. And part of how I want to be able to do that is through the creation of like valuable content, through event hosting, through live broadcasts, through tarots, through services that I offer and everything like that. And so again, me talking about this is like, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm working towards. But as a content creator, like it's hard, man, because a big part of it, it's not just like, oh, it's like, okay, time to post. You go hit a button and it's posted. Like, that's it. Like, no, like there is like this energy that is required to be able to kind of like bring forth like the creativity and to be able to express it in an articulated way that kind of like maps into the bigger vision of what you're doing. And for me, like that's been challenging because, you know, I kind of have like, I'm trying to like pick and choose my focus, but at the same time, sometimes things don't get done on time, and then I feel like I'm getting behind, and I'm constantly like in the struggle of like I'm either not enough, I'm not doing enough, or I'm doing something wrong, or how can I make adjustments? And then how can I still continue to like show up as a father in the best way I can while still taking care of myself? And honestly, and I'm gonna put up another post about this, I've kind of talked about this. I've had this idea come to me where, you know, there's the dark night of the soul, but what I feel, part of what I'm experiencing is the long night of the soul. And what I mean by this is that there are periods in our life where, like, you know, our connection to like spirituality kind of begins to shift and change, and it almost kind of like takes a backseat where we're so engaged with our immediate reality that, you know, our practices and our meditations and our journalings and even just having time to like get out and spend time with nature and community and stuff like that, like it doesn't happen for a while and everything. So, you know, part of what I've been experiencing is like, you know, we kind of like die multiple times through our life, but at the same time we have the opportunity to be reborn. So for me, it's like, you know, that version of Brendan who was like doing broadcasts like regularly and creating content and doing that and doing that and doing that. It's like, where, like, how can I still bring that version of me into who I am now? Maybe not in as quite how it looked then, but still, you know, bringing those passions into it and everything. So for me, it's kind of like this idea where right now, like I'm part of my challenge, my struggle, my growth is being able to kind of like bring back that kind of like entrepreneurial, creative leader energy of myself that is so much of who I am, while still balancing the responsibilities of being a family member and still doing it in a way that's going to be able to generate income for myself. So I'm not just like getting by just like on like minimal funds and everything, so that we can feed our family and all that stuff. And again, first of all, just thank you again, everyone, for your support in all forms. You know, people who have like contributed in any way. Like, I super appreciate you guys. And again, I want to be able to give to you guys, like, in return for you guys supporting me. And so I'm keeping this video under 10 minutes. So I just want to be able to give you guys like a quick run through of what it is that I'm focusing on. And again, I'm creating this video both as a journal, but also as accountability for myself to say, like, to speak into existence, yes, this is what I am working on. So part of what I'm working on, Lacey and I have been working on this series of short stories, and the first one is called Through the Crystal Gate, and we actually have like the chapter 1 that we're like just about to release. That's one of the things that I'm working on. And that's going to be exclusive content for the Patreon supporters. And again, the Patreon is a monthly contribution. If you want to join it, check it out. Links in my profile right here and everything like that. And then the first chapter will release for free, but then the continuous chapters will be released online for Patreon members. And then it will be like a series of other short stories within this anthology. And there's a lot of creative energy that goes into the writing process. And I'll talk more about that another time. The other content that I'm going to be working on is the regular events. And so just keeping this short and sweet, but for those of you interested, it's going to be rotating towards a series of Light Guardian roundtables and Conscious Media Creator dojos every Thursday at 7 to 9 p.m., rotating in alternate weeks. And so that would again be something that would be broadcasted live, but available for Patreon members as well. And then I still have like my tarot services, my mentoring, coaching services, and all of that stuff as well. Anyways, guys, there's a cap at 10 minutes for this video, so I'm just going to wrap it up here. But please feel free to leave your comments if you're still tuned into what I'm up to and you still want to be able to just kind of like be a part of what's on the horizon. I super appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Much love.